Burning fruit. We are finally here, and I am here to tell you the top 5 questions you need to ask your audience to find out how to convert them on your website. But before we go through the top 5 questions you ask your audience, you need to do a couple of things. If you were going to ask a select number of customers questions regarding not only your online presence, but your competitors' online presence as well, this is the approach that I would take. Firstly, choose your audience. Identify 2 people whom you consider to be in your target audience. Preferably, they don't really know what you do. Okay, so anonymous studies are obviously the purest, the best, the ones that get you the most critical feedback because the audience member doesn't care. They're very truthful. They tell you how it is. But if they used your services or bought from you, that's okay. Okay, so it's okay. I mean, you got to work with what you got, but the critical thing is that they are in your target audience. Always do studies with a single audience member. Don't get 4 or 5 people around and start talking and start asking them questions about your online presence, because that doesn't work. You want to be able to eliminate as much as possible any group influence or agenda that may sway a person or sway others in the room a certain way. So make sure that you always do your studies with a single audience member. You'll be able to do one-on-one questions. You'll be able to follow up with certain questions with that one person without being interfered from other people. I have actually seen group studies being taken over by 1 or 2 candidates, namely senior staff, that really skew the results because everyone else just doesn't say anything. So avoid that at all costs. Those are probably the most annoying studies. Choose your competitors. Find 2 competitors in your industry that you consider to be similar, perhaps slightly bigger than your business, maybe an aspirational competitor, along with 1 real competitor. You could possibly use your own website, depending on who the candidate is, but it's really important that you do a head-to-head. So you apply these same questions to your first website and your second website, so you get honest feedback for the same questions from that candidate. The third thing you need to do is really set the scene. Make the candidate a coffee. Make sure they are absolutely comfortable. Bring them into a small, quiet room without any distractions whatsoever. Introduce yourself to them. Tell the candidate briefly what the study is about. And it's just a 1 sentence saying you're gathering their valuable feedback on a couple of websites. Tell them it shouldn't take more than 30 to 40 minutes, and you're only going to ask, a small number of questions, maybe between 5 and 10 questions. And it is important that they are honest at all times. They think aloud, they speak their mind, and they talk through exactly what they're thinking as they're doing it. So if they're going to move a mouse to a certain area of the screen, they need to be talking aloud, saying why they're doing that. The why is so important, because once you find out the why for certain things, that will give you really big clues as to how you should design your website. The last thing in preparation for them to do the study is give them a scenario. So for a plumber, let's say your games room was leaking really badly. You got your laptop out and you're in an emergency situation. You need to find a plumber who is going to come out straight away and fix that leak for you. One example could be that you're selling custom furniture that is fairly expensive and you do not understand why you are not getting the sales that you think you should. And then you provide them 2 websites, maybe your website or 2 websites that are of a similar nature, and start executing the studies. So it's pretty easy to set the scene. It's pretty easy, should be pretty easy to find 2 competitors, and it should theoretically be fairly easy to find a couple of candidates. If you get 4 candidates, that would be perfect. Okay, then that will find 60 to 80% of any issues that are on these websites. 4 candidates is ideal, but just do a couple and you should be fine. But the important thing is you're asking your audience. Once you've done all those things, we are now going to go through the top 5 questions that you need to ask them. Burning fruit.